Hey Al, the Warriors might be the best team ever, but LeBron may have proved that he's the best player ever.
What? LeBron is not the best player ever. He's a loser. And the Warriors just proved that they're the best team.
Alright, this is the Big Al and Dave podcast. I'm Dave, sitting here with Al.
Big Al, Raider X.
And something exciting happened this week.
Yeah.
What went down?
What went down is what we all expected to go down. The Warriors beat the Cavaliers down.
Did anyone expect the otherwise? Did anyone pick?
Well, you know what? It's probably millions of people on the East Coast who think they know basketball who picked the Cavaliers, but they was delusional.
Well, you know what the odds are for next year's finals.
Yeah, I think it's 2-1 Warriors, right?
Yeah, it's like the highest favorite
ever. And some people still doubt the power of the Warriors.
You gonna go to the parade?
Oh, I'm going to the parade, and it's a possibility I might be able to walk in the parade.
What do you mean walk in the parade?
Just, be one of the people who's like being either on a float or just walking or sitting up in there. Through one of my connections, I might be able to.
You're gonna be on one of the floats?
I might. I just don't want to expose the connection right now.
Wait, like you could be standing there with Steph? Is that the connection?
I didn't say the connection was that good.
No, I know who it is, but that would be pretty awesome.
Oh, I might get to meet him though.
Hey, but what were you saying? Is that you'll be on the float and people will be saying, "What? That's who up there?"
That's Raider X up there.
Nobody's gonna say that.
I'll say it.
They'll just be like, "What?"
Whatever.
So the Warriors win the finals, second time in 3 years, but I mean this time with Kevin Durant, who's definitely the second best player in the league.
Behind Steph, I agree with that.
Behind Steph.
Yeah.
We're still gonna do that?
I already told you who's my favorite Warrior is and who I think the best is.
Yeah, while he's sitting there with his number 30 jersey on.
I might be a little bit biased.
KD.
I'm not trying to slight KD. I'm more so slighting LeBron. I done dropped him down to number 3. And if he don't get his act together, it might go a little bit lower.
Act together?
Yeah.
He had a triple-double in the finals.
Whatever.
Averaged it.
Oh, I know. But he got tired every single game.
Well, he is 32 years old.
Well, you know what?
And plus the Warriors are like the fastest team ever, right?
Yeah, but you know what? It's kind of hard to blame. I'm giving him too much of the blame because you know what? I think the reason the Cavaliers really didn't perform better is because they basically got bad coaching. Really bad coaching. The reason I'm saying that is this.
Well, it's because LeBron's got to be the coach and the player.
No, that ain't it. Here it is. In some of these games, in the first half, when the games was really close, there was opportunities for them to rest LeBron James. There is no reason for LeBron James to play the whole first quarter of a game when you got 3 quarters to make up whatever difference. If he'd gave LeBron James more rest in the time, even if you do fall behind, you still got time to come back. They was falling behind anyway. But for instance, that one game they won by, they was up by 20 points or so most of the game. They still had LeBron and them playing the whole game.
Oh, in game 4?
Why don't you give them rest? If you lose some of the lead, put them back in. But you're playing them. You're just playing them. You're overplaying them in the first half of the games, and it came back to bite them every single game.
That's why he rests during the regular season.
Well, apparently that tactic has nothing to do if you're not playing 40-some minutes and you're not taking rest during the regular season. How is that going to help you when you're getting all of this rest time in the regular season and all of a sudden the postseason come and you done rested so much you ain't in enough shape to where you can play the whole 48 minutes.
Hey, Colin Coward was reading off an amazing stat. Check this out. This might influence why LeBron's got to be on that floor. What was it? Per 100 possessions, averaging a point spread when LeBron is on the floor with the Warriors, Cleveland is plus 1.1. They're a point better than the Warriors with LeBron on the floor. Without LeBron, per 100 possessions, minus 49.
Okay.
The wheels come off when he's not there.
Doesn't make a difference.
Done.
Doesn't make
it's
a
over.
difference.
Basically, they got no shot. The
Okay.
Warriors are too good.
Say like in the middle of the first quarter, they was up by 9 points.
Remember, I'm a hockey guy too.
Say in the
I'm
middle of the
trying
first
here.
quarter, Cleveland up by 8 or 9 points. Take him out right there. Right there, take him out. You take him up.
The Warriors go on 11-0 run.
11-0 run. So then you just got him 2 minutes. You
Warriors
just-
go on 11-0 run with him on the floor at the end of the
That's
game.
right. So what's the difference? What would you rather have? A rested LeBron James coming down the stretch or tired LeBron James? The point is, in the first quarter and the second quarter, they could have got him more rest. They put him back in one game for it was 5 seconds left. He had only been out for like about a minute. They put him back in for those 5 seconds for the last possession, and they was up by some points. Why would you do that?
How much did they win Game 4 by? That was ridiculous that first half.
They
too.
won by about I don't remember, but they won by about at least 15.
Were the Warriors trying to?
But the Warriors was down pretty much the whole game, down
they got
15
slaughtered.
to 20 points.
You were supposed to come over here that morning.
No,
You didn't even bring it.
I didn't bring the
What did
broom.
you make?
I made my.
Tell the people what you did.
I made a Warrior broom and put sweep on it. 16-0.
You have to send me a picture of it so I can put it
Just
up
made
right
me
here.
mad. They didn't sweep them, but 16-1 for this season, and 4-1. The best performance I've probably ever seen in a quarter in NBA history
It was.
for them to win
Offensively.
that game. And you know what? We already knew that they couldn't duplicate that. So you know what? They shot their whole wad
That was
during
it.
that game.
That was it right there.
But they expend so much energy, in my opinion,
They're
trying
good
to
on
win
game.
that game. LeBron did not have to be playing that whole game.
You think the Warriors probably had something to do with that too? Like they weren't all there on Game 4.
Oh no, I think that. Well, you know what? What happened was the officials came out calling the game really tight. They put the, for them to
Cleveland
have-
shot like
for
23
them
free
to have
throws
23 free throws
in the first quarter.
First quarter.
I told you it was gonna happen.
That was 8. We was already talking about that they was going to put them to the free throw line. So if you take off those 18 free throws that they made, the game would have been a 1-point game. The Warriors would have been winning. So, they made it tight. But you know what? The way that they were shooting the ball, the way they were shooting 3-pointers, you know what? I'm not putting it on the officials.
Yeah,
the Warriors
'cause
was going to win. The Warriors was going to lose that game.
How many threes did they make in that game? Like
24, I think.
And
But
it
the
set
way they
the
was
set the
yeah.
record the Warriors
The way they
made
was
like a
shooting
few days
threes,
earlier.
We was going to lose that game, and Kyrie was unreal. I'm telling you right now, to me, Kyrie right now is pretty much the driving force to me on that team. It's like, you say LeBron, but if you look over the last few years, the biggest shots is all being made by Kyrie. And, Kyrie, he's the man. You know what? I used to didn't think he was one of the top 3 or 4 point guards in the league.
You
Right
didn't put him
now-
in our top 10 last week.
Yeah, but now,
1-2 games.
now I'm corrected. He is
Oh.
probably the second best point guard in the league.
Man, when he's one-on-one with some of these guys, he's just
yeah.
going right around them.
But you know
And
what?
he doesn't have Draymond Green.
I
He doesn't
can't
have
say-
Draymond Green setting screens for him
I
either.
can't say he's a point guard either, though. So he's probably the best off guard because he don't get any assist. I mean, it's just all one-on-one play for him.
Yeah.
So to call him a point guard is just not right. So you can't even compare apples to oranges. Steph, some of the other guards who get assists and stuff, They're actually point guards. He's a shooting guard.
I was kind of offending you there when, I have Steph third on my list of best players in the league behind LeBron and Durant. But I was kind of like, and they had this debate on Speak for Yourself. I didn't see it. Is Kyrie better than Steph Curry?
Steph Curry is a point guard. He is a true point guard. He gets assists. You got to look at his games.
Oh, he has a ridiculous passing
Kyrie,
ability.
all he gets is points.
But man, he was jumping off that screen.
What I'm talking about, he really, if you look at how many points they scored, did he outscore? I'd have to see if he actually outscored.
Yeah, Steph was the fourth highest scorer in the finals.
He's 20. What was it? 20
behind those three.
Yeah, but he was only like a point or two behind. But when you put the whole thing right there, Kyrie, how many assists did Kyrie get a game? 1 or 2.
Yeah.
How many rebounds did he get a game? 1 or 2. So when you put the whole thing, when Steph actually got a triple-double.
He did.
Yeah. Kyrie ain't going to get no triple-double.
No.
And he's not going to play any defense. So
is Steph Curry going to play
Steph
defense?
is one of the league leaders in steals.
No.
One of the league leaders. So to me, overall game.
I'll keep him at 3.
Ooh.
Steph. No way he's number 1.
Okay.
Like we said in that last episode, he doesn't have that physical presence.
Yeah, but
how
I'll
LeBron
tell
just
you
takes over.
He's got that it factor. When it's on and he's shooting threes, that outweighs that physical presence.
That guy shoots like the ugliest
shooting,
shots I've ever seen.
Oh,
and
man.
they go in.
He goes to the hole, and get hammered and stuff. You know what? I got a gripe about officiating. How is it LeBron?
Of course you do.
How is LeBron James,
The guy who says that
Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, all of these players can get hammered the whole game long, and they not calling calling fouls, but you let the beard go down there. James Harden,
what?
they call penalties every time that you even in his neighborhood.
Are we talking about that guy?
They just automatically call it. You know what? Officiating, you know what they are. And you know what? These announcers just drive me crazy. Oh, yes, that's a good official. Oh, he's the best official. They all bums. I'm telling you right now, they need to get graded. And every time they make five bad calls, they need to start losing some of their pay.
Didn't they do a thing where they release every game, the last 2 minutes, every mistake that officials make?
And they fighting against that because the officials don't want to. They think it's showing them up. Man, some of these officials, and some of them is so old. How can you even? That one official. This is his last game. The one that was I can't think of his name, but the dude looked like he's older than me. And he's officiating. These guys running 100 miles an hour, and he's out there. That's why it's a cause they don't see.
You think there's better officials out there? They're not getting the best guys?
No, they're not getting the. You know what?
Yeah, right.
Once basically most of it is done by seniority. Seem like it's like you get the same ones there.
I'm gonna quote Imagine Dragons. They're only human.
Yeah. Okay. Well, a lot of this can be done with the cameras and stuff too. That can.
Oh my
straighten out
goodness!
they mess.
When they're reviewing
it takes them too long to review it. You just look at it and you can see.
When they're reviewing the technical fouls, when was it David West and who was he going after?
Part of it was
they had
Tristan Thomas and
Tristan Thomas and was it J.R.
J.R. Smith came in and pushed.
They had some little altercation.
And Kyrie,
yeah, just break it up and move on. But it turned into this big, huge ordeal.
But you know what?
What's that about?
But that was also part of the thing to give the players rest. LeBron and the Cavaliers more rest. Is
that what that is?
Oh, that's rest time. You know what? But see,
spoken like a true conspiracy theorist.
But that's what bad coaching coming in. If you really want a game and you got a player who's can't come off the floor, man, he should have had scrubs coming in for a second to just start an altercation to get LeBron more time. He is not a good coach. When you got two players who's got to play the whole game, then you got to get him more rest.
Yeah.
So, you know what?
You got to
By
get
any
creative.
means necessary.
Okay, that I like.
You know what? He should have been out there having players start a fight or a little bit of something to give them more rest time.
It should be blowing in David West's ear.
Whatever.
Like Lance Stevenson.
Like what you call these to pull their pants down. Do anything. Push him. Start a little. Every time you start a ruckus, they got to go look at the cameras and stuff. Hey,
You got
it
that.
takes them 4 or 5 minutes to do that. That's 4 or 5 more minutes LeBron could have been gotten. I was gonna
That's
say,
outrageous to
he
me.
got out coached.
You know I'm an NHL fan.
Yeah.
And they'll have Sidney Crosby, the best player in the world, smashing PK Subban's head into the ice. There's no reviews. There's no suspensions. It's not a big deal. We all move on. We talk about it later, but nobody does anything.
After what did they call it? The Malice in the Palace. After they had that big blow up and the officials way back when the officials lost control of the game and they had the fight with Artest and them going into the fight and all of that, all the lawsuits were settled. That's when they really clamped down on the players.
We've had NHL
not having any more fights.
We've had NHL guys go up into the crowd.
But the NHL is not the NBA. People's only watching the NHL. Basically, nothing else is happening. Nobody's scoring. So they pretty much, a lot of people just watch it for the fights. You know, it might as well be boxing. You know, because that's the only time I want to see something happen is when they done had a good little fight off in the hockey.
That's what, I guess, that's...
You know?
That's what non-hockey fans are all about. But I mean, I feel like they still hold them both to a different standard. The David West thing,
boxing,
just break it up and move on.
Basketball can be played in a more finesse way.
Just break it up.
Like they're doing now. But you know what? Like I say.
Break it up and move it on.
That's right. But now since they got all these technical fouls, 1 and 2, that they got to give out, then they got to look and make sure everybody going to get a technical foul and stuff, you know, and that's also a way of taking money back from the players, you know.
I thought it was crazy.
Okay, yeah, well, it's all about rest time. But it still goes back to their coach.
I like your strategy.
Hey, you know, like I say, a player got to play the whole game. Hey, you got to be creative.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. It's the finals. And if you don't rise to the cake, it's like Al Davis used to say, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. You know, you know what? I don't care if teams cheat. Just don't get caught.
Oh, that's your beef with the Patriots.
Well, that's my Raiders, we all don't have that philosophy. Al Davis don't care. He used to tell them, you got to cheat.
Yeah.
Just don't get caught.
Don't get caught.
You get caught, I'm fine, and you get, you know.
All right, so next year, who's going to be in the finals?
Well, I know the Warriors is going to be in the finals.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you really look at the East Coast.
What can Cleveland
the
do?
East League. Well, they can get to the finals because there's no competition. But you know what? We say it's no competition right now, but there is a team who can possibly dethrone them next year in the East.
If nobody changes teams,
Boston could.
There's nobody.
Yes, there's Boston.
No.
Boston.
Who they're gonna get?
Well, they got the first pick in the draft.
No, but somebody they're gonna get in free agency.
And they can get they got money to get somebody in free agency. So they can make enough moves.
Well, I thought they were talking to somebody.
Well, they can't talk to anybody just
yet.
But yeah.
Colin was talking about somebody.
Yeah, but you know.
But I don't know the NBA.
The George Paul is available. They got this the dude from
Paul
Utah,
George.
Paul George available.
He's got to go to Cleveland, man.
Dude from Utah is available.
I can't name a Jazz player. There's no way.
The guard.
There's no way. John Stockton.
No, Gordon, he can go there. But you know, you got a lot of other. You got Chris Paul, who's a free agent. You got Blake Griffin. He could. I don't know if they want him, but you know.
No, he sucks.
Yeah, well, you know, he used to be a good player. Now he's so fragile.
He's all about flash.
Well, no,
and he's fragile.
He's fragile.
He's flash.
Yeah, and you know, they got some people tossing it out there that they should get rid of Kyrie for 90-year-old Chris Paul. That would be the most
Yeah.
craziest move. Here it is, a player that we're talking about that might be a top 5 player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Chris Paul, he might be in the top 15. And
Oh, he's there.
he can't
he's
stay
there.
there for more than one more year.
How old is he?
I don't know, but I bet she's over 30.
Oh, well, Chris Paul. I
31
mean,
or
he
32.
and LeBron already get along, and he's not going to win in Los Angeles. That's for sure. Unless LeBron goes to Los Angeles.
Well, they might. What if some of these free agents go and hook up with them?
With the Clippers?
Yeah.
Oh. LeBron, wherever he goes, they're going to the finals.
The only reason they look, but it's because the East is so weak. It goes back to if LeBron decided to come somewhere on the West Coast.
It's not because LeBron
There is nobody in the Western Conference that LeBron could come and you put him on that team and they gonna beat the Warriors.
It's not because LeBron is that good. It's because the East is that weak.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
I was
LeBron
trying to
is-
tell
look,
you.
LeBron is that good, but the East is weak.
I was trying to tell you that LeBron is the most talented player of all time. Jordan's probably still the greatest ever because he would have his critics. And I was watching Doug Gottlieb on The Herd this morning, filling in for Colin. And he just went line by line describing Jordan facing up against his critics and killing every single one of them. In every finals, somebody was after him. He went and bounced him. Magic in the first one. They were talking about Clyde Drexler in the second one. Charles Barkley in the third one. They told him he was washed up when he played against the Sonics. They tried to give Karl Malone the MVP 2 years in a row. Slaughtered all of them, making the clutch shots.
But you know what?
LeBron doesn't have the killer instinct.
LeBron don't want to take the last shot because he just don't have it. And so
But he's also a better teammate. He's not going to fight you in practice, which is what Jordan was, punching guys in Chicago.
Are we talking about practice? Practice? No, we're not talking about practice.
Okay, that guy sucks, but anyway.
Allen Iverson?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ask him about practice.
I don't care about anything
I
about
can't
him.
believe you talking about Jordan fighting in practice. Hey, if that's what got him over in the real games, hey, let him fight every practice. Let him whoop all of them, but maybe they come out and play angry and win like they did win.
The value of LeBron might be higher too, though, because Cleveland and Miami, when he left, just disappeared. They fall off the map.
I don't know.
The Bulls are, what, one win away from going to the finals anyway without Jordan?
But look at it this way. When you talk about value, I put wins first.
Yeah.
What is LeBron now? 3
That's-
and 5? 3 and 5?
And he's 2 plays away from being 1-7.
only reason-
He's 2 plays away from being 1-7.
1 and 7, and it wasn't plays that he made. It was plays
Ray
that
Allen.
Ray Allen and
What's the other one?
Kyrie.
Oh, yeah, last year.
That's right. If them two players didn't make the plays that they made, he'd have been 1 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then we consider him great. Get out of here. He's a great regular season player.
And that's why Gottlieb was talking about Wilt Chamberlain might be like the most talented player ever, but he never won, so you don't hear about him.
Because he was going up against those Celtic teams that was just loaded.
Yeah.
And he was at the time he was the best player. But his team,
Much like LeBron now.
you know what? LeBron is in the conversation. I'm not going to ever diss him that bad. He's always, you know what? At one point, I thought he was the best. But at this point right now, I think it's debatable. It was at one point 2 or 3 years ago that it was just no debate. But now,
He's the second best of all time?
no.
LeBron's not the second best of all time?
No. You know, I went on my family camping trip over Memorial Day weekend, and I got to meet my daughter's boyfriend, and he's from Madison, Wisconsin, Vosh. And he was a Cleveland Cavalier fan. And he was talking so much trash about the Cavaliers was going to win. And so he made me a bet that I told him I'd do a podcast with Cavalier gear on if the Warriors lost. But on the other hand, he had to go to work for a whole week with Warrior gear. So I'm getting ready to send him some Warrior gear, and he's going to have to take a picture at work for 5 days in a row showing that he done wore his Warrior gear to work. Teach him to bet against the greatest team ever. Go Warriors!